One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on to his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals reporting pays his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Somehow, some way, we all made it to this amazing Friday morning. Hopefully, all is well with everybody, man. Much love, honor, respect, everybody. We have so much in the news media as we kind of are finding ourselves every single day, finding ourselves with immense amount of stories that are going on. It's very hostile, volatile political environment currently, and so what we're going to be talking about today is more protesters were attacking some ICE agents, whether they were throwing some sort of, I don't know if they were rocks or what they're throwing, but they're throwing it at their vehicles and jumping the shit out of them. There was a couple of things in it's not LA, it's actually Ventura County. And then we go into another ordeal regarding more of the ICE raids. But then we have now an update for the whole ordeal with Iran. This is what they put out. Some of Iran's enriched uranium survived U.S. strikes, Israeli official says. Now, to me, that sounds like it's just a good excuse to go ahead and, go back at them a second go around, kind of thing. I think we did, and they did enough. And then we have Trump that's actually, that comes out about 3 hours ago and says that President Trump says he plans to make a major statement on Russia next week. And I guess he probably is going to be speaking on other topics during the 9 minutes there. Then we have some updates as well with the State Department firing over 1,300 employees. And last but not least, 11 minutes ago, Trump speaks before departure for the floods over there in Texas. So before we get into all of this, as you guys just heard me rattle all of that off, we have a lot to get through. So let's go ahead and quickly get through these call to actions. Everybody come in and hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys would do me a favor as well and hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new, it's also free. Please consider, though, becoming a member starting at $2.99 a month. Listen, right here is what allows us to do what we do here. We are not ever catering to shocking content or doing things for views. And essentially, that's one thing that I really dislike about YouTube, because it's always incentivized that, and social media as well. But we have a fantastic way that we do it that we don't ever have to do that shit. So because of you guys becoming members, man, that's our bread and butter right there. So we're 100% funded by you guys in the Breakfast Club, man. Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, as well as Millennial Food Time and breaking news, as always. And make sure you guys are also hitting that Discord up. You know what I mean? Naomi's throwing the chat or the link in the chat. So make sure you guys join up on that. It's a great place for all of us. That's where all of us in the Breakfast Club hang out, man. It's a great place. And last but not least, every super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, all of these things are, of course, going to be presented live onto the show and shouted out. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your money, your hard-earned money, by the way, we have these platforms that you guys can donate to. And of course, I will have that up and ready to go like I always do. Well, now I've made it a habit. You have to start making habits, you know what I mean? And so me creating where as soon as I read off this part of the show, I have all the donations ready to go on my phone so I can see if anything comes through. So with that being said, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone that's hanging out with us, wherever the hell in the world that you guys happen to be. We got Sage Outcast up in here, as well as Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning. We got Brother Steve Easy. Carney's right, my man. Good to see you as well, and fantastic show this morning. We got Frederick Frame up in the beauty. Shout out to my man. We got Charles Darwin from Down Under. Yes, you can see Charles, by the way. You can see that cat right there? Yeah, motherfucker. Shit. Better hit that like button, cuh. We got Off Grid up in the building as well. Let's see. I'm listening to Mike, but I'm looking at Lucy. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. We got Jason up in here as well. Good morning. All right, so let's go ahead and present this live and see what's going on with the ICE raids. So I guess it started off with protesters getting tear gassed by the ICE agents. So let's go ahead and figure out what the hell's going on here. Bam.
Back out now to Santa Barbara, along with ICE operations that are going. So let's listen in here as we are seeing a bunch of...
I didn't even see Mr. Mister's comment there, man. Good to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so far, kind sir.
Smoke now fill the street. Let's listen in to the best that we can. You are watching live now. Viewer discretion is advised
Charles.
here. Let's listen in.
Okay, so this is in Santa Barbara. Okay, so Santa Barbara and Ventura County were these ICE raid protesters where it was happening yesterday. Jesus. Man, that's a lot of commotion, man. That sounds like too much work right there. All that bullshit. You got that much energy, cuh? Damn. You know what I need? As soon as I hear a little bit of something like that, well, we have something to compensate for the bullshit, you know? Hey, blame it on them. Blame it on them. Blame them for my habits. Here we go. It's a lot easier to point the finger than it is to point thumbs, right? So that's what I'm going to do. Here we go. Anyways. Now what happened? Now the audio just went out. There it is. See, 13 knows the deal. All I hear is a whole bunch of loud ruckus, dude. I love when they actually cut off the audio. I don't want to hear fucking... It's always some chick screaming in the background. Wah! You know, just losing her fucking shit. Yep, crazy people doing stupid shit. Absolutely. Brother's so loud, my man.
Here we go. Good
morning.
See the federal agents
Shout
there
out to my man.
now leaving the area where these protesters were, and they continue now to follow some of the vans out there, out in Santa Barbara, California. We have other vantage points here as well that we're able to bring to you here on Live Now from Fox.
I don't even understand like what they actually think that they're going to get out of this. Do you think that, you know, the ICE agents are going to be like, oh, hey, guys, we got to stop the operation here. We got some protesters here that don't like what we're doing. So I guess we're going to just stop. Happen never. Ever, ever, never, ever. It'll never happen. So why do you even fucking try? What a waste of time.
So a different type of roving cam that we have. I do want to show you just moments ago just how it all unfolded.
What's up, brother Papa Penguin?
Just moments ago, we were
Good
just
morning.
showing where tensions were boiling over. Let's show you here moments ago.
No way. No way. Oh, so. No way. No, Batman.
And that's when you saw the agents there drop the smoke. And you can see
What's up, Dusty? Hopefully my man Flow State's enjoying his Friday morning so far.
that all happening just moments ago. Let's take it back out, though, live right now to more of the scene here in Santa Barbara, California, as these protesters and law enforcement do clash right there on the streets
Absolutely,
near this field.
Motobomb. We'll see on the flip side. Make sure you stay safe out there.
And the roving camera continues right now, and we are going to be following this here for you as we saw the law enforcement group leave the street, at least to the best that we saw, that they took off there. And now we have more of these protesters taking to the streets.
I just don't understand what they think they're going to get out of this. Like by protesting and doing this shit and like starting to attack federal agents by throwing rocks and shit at their cars. Like as if they're gonna just be like, yeah, let's not do the operation anymore. Let's just stop.
Now near this field in Santa Barbara, California, still a roving shot. You could see that they
What's
have
up,
many
Rob's
now
neighbor? Good morning.
coming to the area. And, noticeably, news has probably made its way in this community,
True.
and now more and more people are coming out to check on what is happening in this neighborhood by them. But again, just a roving camera here that we have for you, live, raw, and unfiltered.
That's a really good observation there. Papa Penguin says, he says, it's not about stopping ICE. That's not what the main mission is. It's about normalizing violence, obstruction of the state. Damn, dude, that's a major W. By the way, W comment to you for noticing that shit and calling it out. I like that.
As we are continuing to track this story for you, and while they
All right, so fuck these guys. We'll move on into the next ordeal. This is now in Ventura County, which I'm about to present right now. Bam. This was 13 hours ago for full transparency there.
Seen some of these just incredible scenes there. And you see some of these protesters are now picking up projectiles, rocks there. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah,
Hurling
Steve,
them at
I'm
these
with
white
you.
Vans. And you see there.
I mean, listen, for me, it definitely wasn't the reason why I moved. I definitely moved because I went broke. But it's a great byproduct of being away from these fucking idiots. Yeah, I agree.
The driver's side window almost completely shattered. So like I said, this is of a piece of what we have seen of how some of these demonstrators, these anti-ICE protesters, are taking matters into their own hands in order to impede and thwart federal agents from carrying out these raids at farms like these. So just get another development in this story here.
That's a major
It's a good
farm.
segue, though. We do want to keep going with this story as we have been throughout the course of the afternoon here. I do want to talk about some of the legal questions.
Out there in basically in the middle of nowhere up there, like you got like 6 guys over there protesting.
As well, we're going to bring in some of our legal analysts and colleagues in just a moment.
Is that the operation right there? Looks like it with the vans.
So you can see there, these white vans at pretty high speeds there, kind of hightailing
Oh, look,
groups.
they've got some of the, there's your infamous fucking ICE, whatever Humvee that thing is called. I don't have any idea what that would actually be called, but we see it all the time, that big armored fucking truck.
Essentially suing the federal government, saying ICE agents and other federal agents who do conduct these raids and carry them out, they want to curtail where they can do that. What say you? Will they be successful? According to our reporting, Bill Malugin saying the federal judge here is going to rule in their favor soon.
Well, Bill has gotten really a scoop in this case. He had a lengthy post on X about it.
Okay, I really don't care about what that dude has to say. I want to see these images here.
Using their bodies, their bikes, other cars to shield
So they're just ramming his bike into them, or is he trying to block them?
these vans from leaving this farm there.
No, he's just trying to
And
block
I think
them.
it is safe to.
Yeah, look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people out here, and it looks like one of them might be a cop. So there's like 10 to 13 people protesting out here in the middle of the fucking farm.
Assume that they don't
Oh,
want
they're
these
throwing
vans to
shit.
leave because they are conducting.
They were throwing rocks. They just broke that fucking window. Do you see that? I think that's a broken fucking window right there. Let me back that up real quick. Watch these guys as these the white vans are trying to leave. I think they start throwing a whole bunch of shit
Impeding
at
the
him.
egress of the cars and the vehicles.
Yeah, this guy's blocking him off with that fucking bike, stupid ass. And then all of a sudden they're going to start getting pelted. And then this guy, I mean, that's a totally dumb thing to do with his people, his own protester group. He's standing in front of the fucking vehicle and they start throwing rocks into a fucking van. Do you think that these guys are going to stick around and allow them to, no way. He's just going to gun it and get the fuck out of there. So, stupid position. All of this is really retarded.
Themselves using their bodies, their bikes, other cars to shield these vans from leaving this farm.
See, watch these guys. They're grabbing rocks. Yep.
And I think it is safe to, assume that
here it goes. Boom, boom.
they don't want these vans to leave because they are conducting these raids, rounding up some of these undocumented laborers who work on these farms.
That's broken glass.
And then taking them and processing
That looked like it went right fucking near his face.
Them and possibly getting ready to first detain and then deport them. That's how this goes, right, Zach?
Yeah, that is right. Absolutely. And of course, there's relevant investigation that happens as well. But, Andrew, I would push back. These are not protesters, peaceful protesters, which is protected by the First Amendment, which I think is something we all recognize and respect. That is a criminal act those individuals were committing, particularly if they were committing acts against federal law enforcement agents who may have been in those vans. And so this is a very serious matter. And I think, unfortunately, this is a result of a lot of the heated rhetoric we've heard from so many on the left over the past several weeks, really demonizing ICE agents.
I don't care about you over here, motherfucking dweeb. I don't give a shit about what you guys say over here. I'm going to be honest. I want to see what's actually happening.
A massive crowd there at this farm.
Wow. So now this is that same farm area, I think. Let me back it up just a little bit more, get some context of what he says there.
Still a massive crowd there at this farm in Southern California. Well, our colleagues at Fox 11, including reporter Christina Gonzalez.
And you're right. They are terrorists, by the way. Domestic terrorists. Absolutely.
She's there on the ground as we speak. We are trying to get her on the line and speak with her. She filed this report on what is going on down on the ground. Here's what she had to say. Here's what she found.
Listen, and for any idiots out there that are like, well, protesting is part of, listen, you're right. Okay, listen, I never said that protesting is not something that I support. I absolutely support peaceful protesting. Absolutely. You can do that shit all day long. Now, am I going to go out there and peacefully am I going to protest or do any of that shit? No, I'm not going to do any of that. But do I support your right to be able to go out there and look like a goofball? Absolutely. I do. Yeah, I support that. But I don't support this type of behavior. And this is when, well, listen, there's going to be law and order. There will be order no matter what at the end of the day. The feds will make Stardust. Yeah, I think that's the name of Pink Death Star. That's the name of that's a fantastic. And if everybody can do me a favor, hit that like button. Helps out the show immensely. And it prevents Naomi becoming bitch on me. So, it's fantastic if you guys can not allow her to get to that point. Yeah. Anyways, and happy Friday to everybody, by the way. We got Process as well saying, make sure your mitts are tight. Damn straight. Shit.
There's nothing I can really do.
All right, we thank Fox 11 Los Angeles reporter Christina Gonzalez.
You know what? I think this is a perfect time because, I'm sure by now Flo's already left, but I'm going to go ahead and do him give him a shout out because this is where I got this shit from. I definitely support his show. I totally enjoy watching his shit. And one of the funniest memes I was like, man, I'm grabbing is this. So for the pocket watchers,
maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit. What's up, Brez? Good morning to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning. All right, so let's go ahead and see. There wasn't any more to that, was there? Let me
let's go back now. We have a ground shot, I believe.
Oh, no, there is a little bit more images here. Yeah, let's get
Christina's camera, or at least her photographers. Viewer discretion is advised. This is a live picture right now down on the ground. Actually, let's take the other shot. It's a better angle here. Take a look at this. Not entirely sure what is going on here. You see
Lots of people with their cell
some type
phones
of
out.
official that is being swarmed by these demonstrators.
What?
What
are they going to do,
like,
that
he has
dude?
fallen. His back is all muddy. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Remember,
Mexican
viewer discretion
flags
is
out
advised.
there.
There's some middle fingers going up and the like, but we don't know what's going on. We don't know why this individual has been singled out.
Yeah, that's weird.
We do know, though, that he is being swarmed. He's being harangued. He's being harassed. You can see that there. He's being singled out. We don't know for what. We don't know where or who this individual is from.
Now, these motherfuckers are going to fuck him up.
We don't know if he's some type of, undercover plainclothes federal agent, if he's an employee of some of these agricultural farms.
I don't know what the ordeal is. I don't know the context of any of this. This could be any kind of situation, whether the guy was an opposition of the protest. Maybe he's one of the owners of a farm. You never know what the fuck is going on here.
In the area, we just don't know. So, like I said, viewer discretion is advised. You see, though, other demonstrators, other protesters trying to...
See, this is what's crazy, out there in California. Now, I'm talking about for the normal, legal, law-abiding citizen. California, you can't have firearms on you like that. You just can't. And truth be told, is a situation like this that's going down. This is a major threat that's going on. Now, I'm not saying pull that shit and fucking, but it's a great point right now to have that shit on you just in case shit gets fucking out of control. You can defend yourself. You know what I mean? And in California, they don't allow you to fucking defend yourself worth a shit. Worth a shit. You can't even defend yourself with your own fists. You know what I mean? Like that, they'll like make you out to be a fucking murderer. It's fucked up. California's got a lot of shit wrong, and they have a few things correct. A few things, and I'm being actually liberal with that. There's probably a couple of things, but nonetheless, it's trash. It's lame. Can't even protect yourself.
Call off
Fuck that.
some of their, fellow comrades, so to speak. The guy now with his phone in his hand. So, until we find out more information, we're going to step out of this. We don't know what's going on right now. We don't know why this individual is being singled out. But you can see the front and back of him. It's extremely, extremely muddy.
Yeah, it does kind of look like shit, but no, he fell in the dirt.
Looks like he's getting into his car.
In the mud. Shit.
Okay. So maybe Fox 11 in Los Angeles will let us know.
Yes, exactly. Disclaimer, this is not advice to go do dumb stuff. Yes, fact.
What was going on, why that this
What's up,
person
Brother Bob?
was singled out by these protesters, by these
Now
demonstrators.
watch. As soon as he probably guns it out of here, you'll see someone punch a fucking window, throw something. I guarantee it. It's always as they're fucking leaving. It's always that bullshit. You're not comfortable enough to hit me face to face, but as I'm walking away, you're willing to hit me type shit.
Who really hounded the guy.
Nope, didn't happen.
As these illegal immigration enforcement actions continue to take place in
Look at
parts of the country,
This is
especially there
retarded.
in Southern California.
Yeah, that's dumb. Well, they're out there right now, whatever, police department or whatever is out there holding the line now. All right, so now we're going to be going into some of Iran's enriched uranium survived U.S. strikes, Israeli officials say. Now, I am a little suspicious on this, and what I mean by this is that, yes, I'm sure it wasn't completely fucking destroyed, you know what I mean? But at the same token, I think that this will be an easy... for Netanyahu, it'll be an easy thing to be able to go, well, we have to go back in now. And then that puts a risk not only for them, but it puts a risk putting us back into the crossfires of having to get ourselves involved, which I don't want us to be involved in none of that shit. Shit. Anyways.
All right. Welcome back and Alive now. I'm Austin Westfall. There's always so much to cover in the Middle East. It's always tough to decide where to start, but Alon and I are going to do our best.
And this was 5 hours ago, by the way. So this guy is, we all know he's rough to fucking listen to, so we're going to skip ahead we'll listen to some of what he's got to say, and because he's the main analyst on this whole ordeal, and he has been during this whole ordeal during Iran. He's done actually a decent job, but he's definitely an interesting one. Let's just say that. We'll just be nice today.
Joining me as always. Good to see you, Alone. There's Gaza that I want to talk about. There's meetings about nuclear talks. There's Houthis. There's a lot going on right now. We are going to start with Iran, though. Let's talk about where Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium is located. That was what was in the headlines today. Parts of Iran's stockpile of
Gary.
enriched uranium
Good morning.
apparently survived last month's U.S. airstrikes and could be accessed by Tehran's nuclear engineers. That's according to a senior Israeli official. The Islamic Republic's nuclear program was set back at least 2 years, the official told reporters in a Wednesday briefing. This is all according to the Times of Israel. So, Alone, apparently some of this enriched uranium was too deep to be hit, and it is now accessible. My question for you is, does this mean
I don't even believe that. I don't even believe that it was too deep. I don't even think that. I think that they moved some of it. You know what I mean? They probably didn't get the majority, but they probably went as soon as they realized shit's fucking, we're targeted now. Yeah, we're moving this shit. Yeah, for real. As soon as they got confirmation that, yeah, this is going to fucking happen. I would imagine just like the picture of the satellite picture of the overhead showing like those 14 trucks lined up, in front of their plant right there in front wherever you drive in. They were all ready for them. I don't know, man.
U.S. strikes were not a success. How would you label it?
It's good to see you,
Good afternoon, Rebecca.
As so many things happen in the Middle East, but this is one of the more, I would say, acute examples.
I'm with you,
It
Steve.
really depends
Honestly.
on who you listen to. Very often there's a debate between countries. In this case, there appears to be a debate between the political establishment in the United States and in Israel and the intelligence establishment, both in the United States and in Israel. The political leadership, Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump, both and their government have repeatedly said that the nuclear program was destroyed. Then the intelligence agencies have come out and said, well, no, actually it was set back. Possibly the enriched uranium was moved. Then they said it wasn't moved. It was moved. Trump was accusing.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing. Like, instead of using what he was saying originally, it was too deep. I don't really believe any of that shit.
The different media outlets of publishing things that were not founded, et cetera, et cetera. Where most agencies seem to be zeroing in is on saying that at least some of the enriched uranium, and some reports are saying actually quite a large amount, upwards of 400 kilos of the enriched uranium, had survived, actually not in Fordo. It survived in the underground facilities in Isfahan. Now, what does that mean? Again, it depends who you're listening to. Most agencies
What's up, brother Evil Rick? Good to see you, my man. Happy Friday.
That the amount of damage that was done by the United States and by Israel in the attacks not only buried that enriched uranium in a way that would be hard for Iran to access it, but also set it back in terms of its ability
100%.
to continuously enrich the uranium and also to then process that into a nuclear weapon. So very, very likely the attacks did set Iran back. Very likely the attacks have brought Iran to the place that it will possibly be willing to accept different terms and sign an agreement with the United States. Did it destroy Iran's nuclear program? At this point, most intelligence agencies are agreeing that it has not. And as you said, this report came out in Israel and it was quoting also senior Israeli officials, which is usually code for the Israeli prime minister. So even the political establishment is starting to say, yes, we did not destroy all the uranium. In that same report, that same senior Israeli official actually said, and we knew that it would have been impossible to destroy. So seemingly saying that Israel and the United States already knew that in advance.
What's the matter? You fucked them up pretty damn good. You put a good setback on them. Who cares? Why does it have to be completely and utterly destroyed to the point where they have 0%? They're not allowed to have 1%? You know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit? You fucked them up. Leave it alone, dude.
Which says that possibly the aim was actually just to hold them back for a few years. Then, going back to your question, so was it a success or a failure? If the aim was to hold them back for a few years, success. If the aim was to destroy them, failure. If the aim was for what President Trump actually said it was, to apply military pressure, possibly to destroy them, but mostly to bring them back towards a diplomatic resolution, maybe more of a success, but we'll see if that resolution does happen.
So, the U.S. and Iran went after each other because of Iran's nuclear program. It was all over. And by the way, the 12-Day War was about this as well. It was about ramping down the nuclear program. So have there been any diplomatic discussions? Has there been any reporting to suggest that any diplomatic discussions have been making any headway? Has there been any...
That's a great question, what Austin just asked. Has there been any diplomatic, going forward, has there been any type of diplomacy here? where it's being done without threats and shit. Like, are we being able to get through with some sort of deal? What's happening?
Progress toward a diplomatic solution to ramping down the program. Has there been any significant updates regarding that?
So far, surprisingly not. Both sides said that they were going to start.
Oh, wow. He said surprisingly not. Well, I mean, some people were like, no, there's no way that there's going to be a ceasefire now, or there's not going to be an agreement. There's not going to be a nuclear deal signed. And it's like, well, most of the time, while it's the most chaos is when you can get an actual deal signed. You know what I mean? You don't always get everything done with diplomacy.
Again, and there were rumors that there was already sort of like lower level discussions, but really everything's being overshadowed by the conversations that are going on between Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump. And, one of the disadvantages of having Steve Witkoff, sort of Trump's man to everything, to the negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, the nuclear talks with Iran, the talks between Israel and Hamas, is factually, he is busy. He may have all the talents in the world, but he is one man. Right now, the highest level of negotiations are happening between Israel and Hamas, and Steve Witkoff is busy with that. That's not to say the negotiations are not happening behind the scenes, laying the groundwork between the United States and Iran, but right now, the sides have not actually had any breakthroughs in terms of coming closer to some sort of resolution. I will say that it is very likely that the sides are waiting to see what happens in the Israel-Hamas war, because that will have an effect. If that war does start spiraling down and the Houthi attack starts spiraling down, that's going to...
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. All right, so really quick, Reuters, whatever, the organization that is a news agency, Houthi militants attacked and sank a second ship this week, sparking fresh fears for shipping in the Red Sea. Yeah, see the fucking Houthis, man. They're fucking so radical. And I've shown this before, and I'm going to pull this up, and I'll let this dude speak real quick, but I'm going to pull up something that I've shown a couple of times on the show, but it's very interesting. These Houthis are fucked, man.
Of 2023, just as the war started to escalate and Israel invaded Gaza, the Houthis started their attacks. Then the United States, under U.S. President Biden at the time, organized a regional coalition and started defending ships and also attacking the Houthis. And then it seemed like under Trump, probably this would escalate even further. Instead, Trump took an entirely different turn and actually signed a separate agreement with the Houthis, not even informing Israel about that, and leaving Israel sort of out of the equation. The Houthis continued to fire missiles at Israel, and Trump made a deal with them. Meanwhile,
all right, real quick, I'm going to show you guys this. And this is being reported on BBC, by the way. You know what I mean? So if you, no one can argue this shit, right? Nonetheless, look how many attacks since, I believe, 2023. I'm trying to see if there's the actual. I'm looking real quick if there's an actual date of when it began. I'm looking real quick. No, doesn't state a fucking, unfortunately it doesn't. But when these attacks first started happening by the Houthi rebels over there, Yemen is a very interesting area landscape-wise. If you guys notice, this area right here, this is the area that basically is all Houthi controlled. And this is actually where the main population of civilization lives. Out here, past this triangle spot, out here is all kind of like mountains, region. It's hot. That shit is not conducive for anybody out there. That's like the middle of fucking Texas out there. Or some parts are like straight in mountains, mountain ranges, and can't really live there. So all of society, pretty much, down there in Yemen, are down where the Houthis control this shit. And as you guys can see, this bottleneck between we've got the Red Sea, that bottlenecks into the Gulf of Aden. This is believe it or not, a fantastic trade route for ships. It's a great, but here's the thing. Ever since they've become so radicalized, they've had to shut down this shipping for, like, for instance, many countries don't go through the Red Sea because of this. Because everyone's a fucking target. And so another ship was just struck by the Houthis last week, it said. It was being reported. So it just adds to the list of how many fucking ships they're just going to attack. And I believe the majority of these were... Nope, never mind. Nope, I don't have that fact, so I won't even say it. All right, so I exit out of that. Let's go ahead and move on from the Houthis and as well as Iran. Let's move into Trump. President Trump says he plans to make a major statement on Russia next week. So let's go ahead and pull this up, and we'll present that for you guys right here, right now. Bam.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, and I do want to get right back into the headlines at this hour as the administration has resumed sending some weapons to Ukraine a week after the Pentagon had directed that some deliveries be paused. That is according to U.S. officials. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth directed the pause on some shipments last week to allow the Pentagon to assess its weapons stockpiles in a move that caught the White House by surprise.
Yes. By the way, you guys don't have to like what's happening around the world, but if you guys can do me a favor and hit the like for me and my takes and for the support of the show, I'd very much appreciate your laborious work out there.
Admiral Mark Montgomery is a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defensive Democracies and heads up the Center on Cyber and Technology Innovation. He does have over 30 years of experience in the U.S. Navy and testifies regularly on Capitol Hill.
I don't know the answer to that, honestly. I would have to look at and understand that their flag doesn't necessarily mean that's where it's actually from. You know what I mean? Port of registry is very interesting on how they do this shit with taxes. This is why I see a lot of the ships that are registered to Panama and all this bullshit. Anyways, I don't know who owned that ship, but I would have to do some digging on that. It's got to be some sort of, I don't know. I don't even know because we don't go through there at all anymore.
Foreign policy issues. Joining us now live to discuss all of this and what happens next. Mark, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. And overall, just kind of getting into it right here, what does this decision to resume those weapons transfers there really say about President Trump? Why did he do it, and what does it say overall?
Basically, what he's going to be questioning is resuming sending weapons to Ukraine. Now, this is something I'm so staunchly opposed. I couldn't be more opposed to the decision to send weapons to Ukraine.
Well, it says, as one would expect, that President Trump is in charge. And I think this decision, made, and I don't think it was made by Pete Hegseth. I think he was signing off on a decision. He signs a lot of decisions every day. This was a big one, but made by some of his lower level subordinates. Was inconsistent
sorry,
with
Papa.
where
You're
President
right
Trump
about that.
was going
That's
with
funny.
Policy towards Ukraine, but more importantly, Russia.
Trying to be professional over here, Papa Penguin. I'm trying to do a job over here, cuh. Shit.
It's really clear that President Trump has soured on President Putin and his delaying efforts when it comes to achieving a meaningful ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. And so it's a reflection of his desire to end the war, and the impediment to ending that war is Vladimir Putin.
And I did want to ask, because you referred to this, the deliveries here as a, quote, great first step. What's missing in President Trump's current Ukraine
this fucking guy
strategy?
This guy is just a suck up motherfucker for Ukraine. Zelensky fucking dick loving piece of shit.
In your opinion and expertise?
So I think this is the first step, and I think a few more things are needed. The first thing that's needed is to embrace Senator Lindsey Graham's Russia Sanctions Act, and that's to bring real, meaningful sanctions on Russian fossil fuels, their oil and natural gas. That's what.
Of course, you want to sanction them. Yeah. That sounds like a typical Ukrainian apologist.
The Russian economy, and while they are sanctioned, there are secondary and tertiary receivers of that fuel, that oil and natural gas, mostly China and India, who are violating the sanctions.
You're right.
By taking these so-called shadow fleet oilers, illegal oilers with oil and natural gas on them. So he wants to sanction those. And if you do that, you'll cut off a lot of funding to Vladimir Putin's regime.
And right here, we actually have a post from Bloomberg as they posted on X and said, Trump said that he plans to make a, quote, major statement on...
I appreciate that, Steve. He says, Rebecca, I don't trust our news or yours. That's why I watch Brother Mike. Hey, man, I very much appreciate that, kind sir, for that. And Charles says that it was a Greek ship. That's very, very interesting. I don't even know why they even try to go through that area anymore. Mr. Yes, sir, I got it for you.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Russia, as the U.S. prepares to send a volley of new American weapons to Ukraine via purchases from NATO allies. What do you make of that overall, this statement that's coming on a, quote, major statement on Russia?
Well, I'm hoping that one of the elements of that major statement are the sanctions. The other is clearly going to be the new weapons, access to our defense industrial base, which is key. Kiev or Ukraine needs defensive weapons. That is the Patriot missiles that go on the Patriot launchers and the what are called AMRAAM missiles that go on the NASAMS launchers, and then the AIM-9 Sidewinders that go on F-16s. 2 of those 3 weapons were paused, and I think all 3 of them are going to be unpaused, and then access to even more. Those are critical because they shoot down ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and drones launched by Russia against Ukraine. And we've seen, as your coverage has shown very clearly, that those missiles are not hitting military targets. They're hitting civilian targets, civilian critical infrastructure, and killing civilians. And President Trump wants that to stop. He's told Putin, Vladimir, stop. And if Vladimir won't stop, he's going to give Ukraine the ability to make that.
Bro, it is not our ordeal to necessarily. Listen, if we could have negotiated a fucking ceasefire or something like that, that would have been great. You know what I mean? But us getting involved, we don't need to fucking tell any of these motherfuckers what to do or how to do their shit. Fuck them. Who fucking cares? Let them do what they want to fucking do. It's not our responsibility, dude. Who fucking cares? I just don't understand, like, why we have to be we have to be involved in everybody's shit, man. I hate that shit.
Reduce their likelihood of hitting.
Going a little bit deeper into that right now, can you explain the weapons overall that are being sent over there and really what you think should be sent over by the U.S. to kind of help Ukraine versus Russia?
So the kind of weapons going over are mostly those defensive weapons, air defense weapons like Patriots, which go on a Patriot launcher, AMRAAMs, which go on NASAMS launchers. Those both shoot down cruise and ballistic missiles.
Shit.
But also AIM-9 Sidewinders. They go on the F-16s that NATO countries have provided Ukraine, and the U.S. is supported with like pilot training and maintenance and stuff. And those shoot down drones and cruise missiles. So that's what's going to go. And also artillery rounds and anti-tank rounds will go. What needs to go in addition, and that's a great question because they do need more. There were places where the Biden administration had come up short for sure. And that includes like a rocket launcher system that goes on F-16 so you can shoot down drones cheaply. And then this is the key. If he does this, it's the strongest signal to President Putin. Begin the reselling again of long-range strike weapons. That's the guided missile launcher rocket system that goes about 60 miles. That can hit Russian forces behind the lines. And then the ATACMS, which is a long-range, more like a 300-mile missile that can really reach even into Russia and strike Russian formations. And so, if he starts to sell those and gives them unrestricted use, which the Biden administration never did.
I know what will make Aussies get angry when they run out of Vegemite. You know what I mean?
I think Putin's going to really have to think twice, come to the table. So sanctions, defensive systems, offensive weapon systems, that's the whole package that I think pressures Vladimir Putin to the table.
Going kind of in reverse here, as we talk about what happened several months ago here between President Trump and Zelensky over in the White House as they were meeting, obviously things were very tense. Some words started flying.
Yeah, like as if they're going to be like, we got ourselves some offensive weapons. That's like saying, I got myself some weapons. Fucking weapons, homie. It's how you use them. It's when you use them is what determines them being defensive or offensive, motherfucker. Come on.
Around. So how do you think that Putin's actions here over the past several weeks with Trump have kind of changed President Trump's thoughts on Ukraine overall?
And real quick, that's just, for them, that's a political way of them to be able to say and get away with fucking and reason and their cope of being able to, that's why they do that.
Well, that's a great point. I think it's 2 elements. One is Zelensky has really responded to everything President Trump has asked. When President Trump says do this, he does that. He has been an exceptionally compliant and useful and loyal partner to the United States in terms of when he goes to the negotiating table, he carries forth the agenda that President Trump wants. That's number one. President Zelensky is demonstrating his value as a partner. Number 2 is President Putin's ignoring President Trump. And I mean, to the degree where they have a phone call.
Real quick, major fucking L for this dude just the whole time, by the way. He's got a lot of emotional damage. But a major W to the Breakfast Club. I see you guys down there hitting the like button. Thank you guys. Hell yeah. Real quick, we got Brother Hardwire, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so far. Good to see you.
President Trump will come out and say it went great because Putin told Trump whatever he needed to hear. And about 3 hours later, there's a 700 drone, 50 cruise missile attack into civilian infrastructure in Kiev, which is basically, kind of a big, middle finger. And, the president used some foul language about how Putin treats him. And so I think it's those two things: Zelensky's willingness to do it right and Putin's unwillingness to do anything.
All right.
Yeah, they're definitely not. And what Mr. Mister says, I don't think Fox is showing the entire narrative here. Putin, I think it was last week, was making economic threats not involved with the war, the BRICS thing. Yeah, exactly. And no, this is one perspective from one dingleberry. You know what I mean? And listen, it's like anybody getting up there, it being a political analyst like what I am. That's just a fancy way of just being basically in tune and actually having an opinion, a political opinion on these kind of things. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are up here that do this not for any type of morality or any type of, and remember, you can't get into politics for morality. That's the last thing you would ever want to fucking do. This is exactly why you can never also legislate morality, and I would never even try. But listen, there's just all these types of, there's so many people out there that got voices that I think that you shouldn't even have a voice like that. You know what I mean? Like your fucked up rhetoric, and it is fucked up. Absolutely. They just don't have a grasp of what's actually fucking going on here. Like, I don't understand these people that suck up to these fucking countries. Suck up to your own fucking country. I mean, what are you doing? You guys give a shit about everyone fucking else but yourself. It's insane.
Mark Montgomery, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here and discuss all of this.
Angry
Obviously,
Casper,
a developing story, so we'll keep an eye on it. Is there anything else that you want to add overall that maybe we missed before I let you go?
The last thing I'd say is I spent time with Ukrainian troops. I see how they're fighting.
Well, that is true as well, Angry Casper. Absolutely. There's all sorts of warfare that is going down that blows my mind. Not just stuff like that, but even just like what's happening over there in Russia, Ukraine, for instance. The drone warfare is insane. I mean, and as well as we just saw that with, Israel as well. Yeah, I mean, fuck, man. It's just, warfare is absolutely crazy all the way around.
These guys are not, men and women are not going to lose. Even if we were to cut off support, they would still not lose. They're not going to win, but they're not going to lose. But a lot more civilian, if we don't support them, what's really at play are civilian casualties, civilian infrastructure being destroyed by Putin's aggressiveness. So when we step into the breach here, we're not stepping in to try to overthrow the
What's up, Get Some? Good morning, by the way.
Regime. We're stepping in to stop civilian casualties, which is something President Trump believes in.
All right, Admiral, thank you again for...
BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and I'm trying North Korea, and I'm trying to remember what the S is. But you know what it is. So it's their own type of currency. And this, trust me, this is kind of like a super breakdown of what it is. So it's not, you might have a lot of questions. But as soon as we lost the, trying to remember what the actual, or the name of it was, the petrol or oil deal or whatever with our money being used. I can't remember what it was called. But nonetheless, as soon as that oil deal was up where we were using our currency around the world, then it gave an opportunity to these other countries to create their own, not currency necessarily, but where they're using in the oil field, they're being able to purchase and use their currency now from the BRICS plus nations. And South Africa is part of it, for instance. Like there's a handful of countries. Now that they call it BRICS Plus because there's a few more countries that have joined in a part of that. But anyways, petrodollar, I think it was called. Anyways, whatever.
Be here with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And I do want to pop this up on your screen once again. This is that post coming in from Bloomberg saying that Trump said that he plans to make a, quote, major statement on Russia as the U.S. does prepare to send a volley of new American weapons to Ukraine via purchases from NATO allies. So we'll bring you more on that statement as we do get it.
Yeah, no kidding, by the way, there, Steve. I see you. Absolutely. I feel that. All right, so let's go ahead and move into now the State Department is firing over 1,300 employees, and this coming out of the U.S. State Department. So let's go ahead and pull this up for you guys. Bam.
So you can see right here live outside of the State Department as folks are going in and out. Now, I do want to get back to that breaking news because we do have some new information that is coming in. The State Department firing more than 1,300 employees today in line with a dramatic reorganization plan unveiled by the Trump administration earlier this year, a move that critics say could damage America's global leadership.
Thank you, by the way, for that, Jason.
And efforts to counter threats abroad. The department is sending layoff notices to more than 1,100 civil servants and about 246 foreign service officers with domestic assignments in the U.S. That's according to a senior State Department official who spoke on the condition that they could remain anonymous. Foreign service officers affected will be placed immediately on administrative leave for about 120 days, after which they will formally lose their jobs. That, again, is according to sources that spoke with the Associated Press. For most affected civil servants, the separation period is about 60 days. Quote, in connection with the departmental reorganization, the department is streamlining domestic operations.
Thank you for that, by the way. Angry Casper put out the actual list of the BRICS Plus nations now that are a part of the deal. So it originally was BRICS, and then it went to BRICS Plus. And so that's all the different countries right there. So thank you for that, Angry Casper. I appreciate that.
To focus on diplomatic priorities. That's according to that notice. Quote, headcount reductions have been carefully tailored to affect non-core functions, duplicative or redundant offices, and offices where considerable efficiencies may be found from centralization or consolidation of functions and responsibilities. While President Donald Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio...
extra surprise, my man. Good to see you, and appreciate that like, kind sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning.
As well as their Republican allies are thinking about this and how to essentially reorganize that department. We have seen some of that criticism that we talked about, essentially saying here that it could damage America's global leadership and efforts to counter those threats abroad. Now, the Trump administration had pushed to reshape American diplomacy and worked aggressively to shrink the size of the federal government, including mass dismissals, as part of moves to dismantle whole departments like the U.S. Agency for International Development and the Education Department. We'll make sure to keep you updated here.
Damn, well, and they're saying more than 1,300. That shit, they may ramp that shit up. Who knows? But that's what they're reporting right now, is they're laying off more than 1,300 employees from the U.S. State Department. So let's go ahead and move on into what Trump has said. He came out into the media an hour ago, so this was breaking an hour ago. He speaks before his departure for Texas. He's going to go visit over there. Let's go ahead and put this on 1.25. Good.
Russian drones hit a maternity hospital in Ukraine overnight.
Real quick. We got Get Some coming in hot, by the way, with the 5 spot. My man saying, thanks for the show. I hit the like, but it hit me first, so it's self-defense. Yes, sir. I like that. My man. Homie making it rain over here. I very much appreciate you, kind sir.
You'll be seeing things happen. Now that you will go to Texas, are you planning on delivering any type of help for undocumented families that lost everything including their children? I think we've done very well on immigration. We were given a very bad hand by Biden. He allowed 25 million people to come in totally unchecked, unvetted. We're getting the criminals out, and we're getting them out fast. The courts have ultimately done the right thing. Amazingly, they've really done the right thing. And they understand it's really the survival of our country. It's a very important thing. We can't have like 11,888 murderers. And, you know, something that you should have that you haven't reported. As you know, 300,000 children are missing, right? 300,000 under Biden. We've already gotten back 10,000 of those children, and we have a lot more planned to come back. We're getting them back by the thousands. But 300,000, and we've, as of this morning, over 10,000 we've gotten back. What is your advice to countries worldwide ahead of the upcoming?
I just got to point out, Why do they always... I'm going to do this until they change it. Why do they got to continue to do these conferences? Look at how many people are back there, like, observing this shit. You know, how many people are involved. Why do you have to be right next to the fucking plane? Why do I got to hear your jets? Why? It'd actually be a lot better if you had the jet somewhat in the background and had it as a backdrop to that. Like, that would look better. That would look fucking awesome. And you wouldn't hear the fucking jets.
Upcoming tariff deadline. Oh, I think just keep working hard. You know, we've been taken advantage of for many, many years by countries, both friend and foe. And frankly, the friends have been worse than the
Hell yeah, Hardwire. I appreciate that. That's awesome. And you know me, I'm into that. Any pyro shit.
In many cases. So I would say just keep working. It's all going to work out. I think he's doing a terrible job. I think we should be 3 points lower interest rate. He's costing our country a lot of money. We should be number one, and we're not. And that's because of Jerome Powell. In terms of interest, we are number one in the world. Look, I'll tell you a little simple language. 1 year ago, our country was a dead country. We were going nowhere except down. We were the laughing stock all over the world. And now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're number one everywhere, anywhere in the world. And that's all they're talking about is our country. 1 year ago, it was a dead country. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Well, just because they're talking about you, I'm not really down with that analysis of it, but whatever.
All right, as you see there, we were just listening into this. This was from just a few moments ago as we listened into President Trump. As you see him standing there with his wife and First Lady, Melania Trump, as they're heading to Texas, taking a moment to speak to reporters. And as you can see, they're still going and interacting with folks. Let's continue to listen in here.
No. Why would you bring up the volume on that? Why? I don't want to hear the fucking jets. Okay, we're not going to hear their conversations. I'm going to skip this ahead. And as I do that, I'm going to set up a raid right now. I'm going to see who is live, by the way. See if they get them speaking or anything else. I want to hear their announcement. There it is. Thank you.
As well as you saw President Trump and the First Lady interacting with those there outside of the White House. Again, the press able to ask him just a few questions as he takes off as he was headed towards Joint Base Andrews before heading to Texas as well. The two of them giving some affection, showing a half hug there as well as they're boarding Marine One. We did just see them as they officially boarded Air Force One as well. So what we're seeing here was just a few moments ago. I also want to take you back while we were replaying those moments where President Trump was speaking to those reporters. He was simultaneously, after boarding Marine One there, heading over to the airport. He had landed on Marine One. We were bringing you those images live, and he also took the time to go ahead and board Air Force One. So I do want to replay that moment as well for you here on Live Now from Fox. Take a look.
Why would they fucking blast our ears with that nonsense? Why would they do that?
Talking about what he would like to see change and also viewing the site of all of the devastation. The president said...
Hey, my man Steve, I appreciate that. He's saying, another great show, Mike. You make this garbage news seem not so horrible, G. Hey, well, I appreciate you, man. That means I'm doing my job then, right? You know what I mean? Hey, man, I appreciate that. Oh, shit.
Table earlier this week that he didn't want to distract in the first few days after the flooding, waiting until today, Friday, to go survey the damage alongside First Lady Melania Trump.
True rabbit of chaos.
So the two of them taking the time to board Air Force One. We'll continue to keep our eyes.
They are headed off to Texas right now, amid the Texas floods. That's where they're headed to right now.
There on this shot as they have now boarded the plane at this point and are awaiting takeoff. So again, the devastation.
Wait, how come he didn't have to take off his shoes to get cleared to get on the plane?
Which, according to the Associated Press, has now killed at least 120 people in just the last week. This all began.
See, there's Air Force One.
On July 4th, when the local river there, the Guadalupe River, rose rapidly and within 45 minutes began to flood, sending devastation all over the Texas Hill Country. Earlier this week, President Trump did speak to NBC News, saying that nobody ever saw a thing like this. He said it was a once in every 200-year deal. And so at this point, the Associated Press says that still more than 170 people are still missing at this point. But we just showed you these moments where the president...
You know, I actually did see that get passed. I did see that TSA has officially removed the shoe requirement as of 3 days ago. I did see that, and I think, was that a part of the Big Beautiful Bill? I believe that was part of the Big Beautiful Bill. I think that's where it actually, why TSA had to drop it was because it was a part of that. I think something like that.
Boarded Air Force One, getting ready to head to Texas. We can take you back out live there, as we've officially shown you that he and the First Lady have boarded the plane. But this is a live shot
so
there.
No more Epstein talk? What a disgrace. Yeah, shit. No fucking kidding. You know, the media is trying not to, you know, themselves, they're trying to, not trying to get involved in none of that shit, right? And once it's over, it's over. Yeah, fucking right. Listen, shit like that will never die out until answers are answered. You know, I mean, questions are answered, rather. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with us this beautiful morning here. Listen, stick around for the raid. We're going to be raiding our buddy Carney. Make sure you guys stick around for that, as well as hit the like button on the way out. I'd very much appreciate you guys doing that for me. And listen, tomorrow morning, we've got our Saturday members-only live streams for you guys for the Breakfast Club. We're going to be doing, me and Naomi are going to be doing a co-feature. She's going to be in the camera and frame with us, and she's actually going to be putting her input about, we're going to be overviewing or reviewing some of the craziest, and you guys know that I love doing this shit, body cam footage, whether they're arrests or whatever the case is. I love watching body cam footage. So me and her are going to be doing that tomorrow. So if you guys are members, you guys will be able to see us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. CST. But if I don't see you guys Saturday, I will, of course, I'm back Monday morning for more of the World's Madness. I take Sunday off. That's my one day off. And listen, until then, much love, honor, respect to everybody. And make sure you guys stick around for the raid. And God bless everybody. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges.